The Playset Eternia. It's big. Literally and figuratively, this is possibly the biggest thing to ever happen in the history of Motu toys. The campaign Mattel launched a month ago has been a big one. The number Mattel is looking to sell is a big one, and finally the price tag is really, really big. So big, in fact, that my comments section was flooded with fans swearing off spending the over $600 needed after shipping and taxes that it would take to bring this thing home. Not to mention the litany of overseas fans who were looking at much, much higher prices outside the US. Out of curiosity, I even posted a poll, and the results were, well, less than encouraging. However, Mattel ended up rolling the dice on an extremely iffy crowdfunding tactic that is dividing fandoms and attracting backers while simultaneously killing momentum, leaving me to wonder, is this dangerous method even worth it? Hello, my name is Jared, and I welcome you to another analysis video from Fanboys Forever. And I ask that you subscribe and like the video because it really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to comment your view on the situation down below once the video is over. And with that out of the way, let's begin. The early bird backer reward is a concept that's generated incredible success and incredible failure in equal measure. When Hasbro implemented this tactic with the G.I. Joe classified HISS tank, it worked splendidly, or at least it seemed to. Here was an item in extreme demand for years, and Hasbro was offering a special reward to every single backer, no matter when they joined, but it had to fund in a short period of time. It turned out no early bird reward was probably even needed, because fans had the HISS tank completely backed minus stretch goals in just a couple of days. The campaign would go on to achieve massive success, and now we await our HISS tanks. Fast forward many months later, and Hasbro attempted the same tactic, only this time with the relatively obscure and considerably overpriced Engine of Vengeance Ghost Rider car from Marvel Legends. It was in the midst of this campaign that Eternia launched, and every fan watched the doomed Marvel Legends campaign as the entire thing fell apart after the early bird figure, Robbie Reyes, failed to materialize. Once that momentum was lost, it seemed that there was no going back, even after altering plans to at least include the head and other accessories that would have been featured in the early bird. It still wasn't enough, and the backer count went into free fall. Regardless of these recent events, Mattel tried the same tactic, only they put a twist on it that would both bless and curse the Eternia campaign. Their early bird backer figure was King Grayskull, a key character in the mythos. But rather than use Hasbro's method of awarding the figure to every backer if it funded in the first week, Mattel would only be giving it to the fans who could afford to drop the hundreds right away, and everyone else would be left out. It didn't have to fund in the first week, but if you wanted the figure, you would have to commit to being a backer in this narrow time frame. In a way, this strategy worked. Mattel got the giant playset funded in the first week by ransoming King Grayskull, but at what cost? The most serious and die-hard Motu fans like me came out swinging, knowing that they couldn't risk an incomplete collection, and they did whatever they needed to do, whether it was selling something or moving some money around to prepare themselves for this massive financial blow. But more casual fans who couldn't take such extreme measures were left resentful. Why should they back a campaign in which they had already missed such a coveted figure? Did Mattel really expect them to come up with such a massive sum of money with only a few days' notice? What ended up happening was at first exciting, but eventually quite painful to watch, as fans tore through 8,000 backers to get the Moat Creature, or Moti as fans started to call him, tier. And then, as the deadline for the King Grayskull early bird came, nothing. Not surprisingly, the campaign completely flatlined. All the momentum had been spent in that first blitz. Sure, fans could still back the massive project, but now they would be missing a pivotal addition. Fans often know best, and they most assuredly knew from the start that this would happen, and Twitter comments, YouTube comments, and all manner of fan communication with Mattel warned them of this, imploring them to alter their plans and offer the figure to all backers so the momentum could be regained. But weeks of silence followed. Rather than swiftly address the issue, Mattel chose to wait. Finally, for the last week of the campaign, Mattel produced an excellently staged, shot, and written live stream presentation all about the massive Eternia playset to drum up interest for the final push to 10,000 backers. This was the threshold needed to get the obscure elder character Keklar from the British comics. At the end of the presentation, fans were finally given the update that they had begged Mattel for. Well, sort of. Mattel finally announced that if they hit 10,000 backers, then everyone would get King Grayskull, no matter when they backed it. Surely this would create a major spike in backers, but alas, no obvious bump occurred as a result, and we now find ourselves well over 1,000 backers short of the 10,000 backer threshold with only hours left in the campaign to go. But how did this happen? Here's my take. Simply put, Mattel absolutely should not have attached King Grayskull to that final 10,000 backer level for the Keklar stretch goal. Rather than ransom him out with a, hey, maybe you'll get him, he should have been, as fans asked, available for everyone. Better yet, the early bird fiasco shouldn't have ever been a part of the campaign to begin with. Only in the most surefire thing campaigns should this tactic ever be used. Unless you're a Galactus or a Hiss tank, avoid this. Even then, companies are rolling the dice and playing with fire every time they utilize this tactic. I still hold out hope that a large amount of Motu fans will be last-minute backers for Eternia, but it seems like a daunting ask at such a late hour, and as the minutes tick by, fans all over the world must now wonder, will a foolish mistake cost them the final tier and hundreds of new backers the chance to own a figure that should have never been an early bird? Well, in fairness, I have to at least compliment Mattel for trying. They could have done nothing and just hoped for the best, and even if their plan wasn't a sound one, at least they made that effort. Either way, we'll see what happens, and you can count on me to give you my perspective on the wild ride to the end of the campaign as we see if this thing has the potential to really go the distance. One thing is certain, it seems that companies still need to learn the lesson that you should listen to the fans, listen to them early, and listen to them often. If they're trying to tell you something that's going to help your business, take it to heart. A lesson that unfortunately Hasbro did not learn with the Rancor monster, as they refused the fan feedback on tiers and backer rewards. If companies want to make crowdfunding their go-to source to get these large projects done, and with these large projects the potential for massive profits, then the fans always need to come first. So let me know down in the comments below. Are you going to be one of the last minute backers? Maybe you were like me and you backed early, just so that you could make sure that you get that King Grayskull figure. Or perhaps you won't be backing at all, still feeling that the price is absolutely insane. Either way, I can't wait to hear your opinion down below as we take this wild ride into the final moments before we see the result of this campaign. And with that, I thank you. And as always, God bless you and yours. And I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out.